Yo. So I got a message today on Instagram and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's very empowering and it can help transform how you view your credit and help you avoid some of these earlier mistakes and have a better understanding so you don't go on this roller coaster journey with your credit score, right? Because it's such a crazy roller coaster ride when you do not know what is going on and what makes up your credit score and the reason it changes each month. So pay attention. And for those that stick to the end, I'm not only going to explain why your credit score may be going down due to utilization problems, even though you're making 100% of your payments every single month and is being recorded as 100% payment history, but your credit score continues to go down due to you do not know when to pay your bills. So your credit usage, right? How much of your credit card balance is to how much you pay each month is too high. And that is being reported to your credit reporting agency every single month, making your score to go down 30 to 50 points at least every month. If you're someone who's tired of this, say thank you to Joshua for asking the question because now I'm going to be able to provide you value as well. So I'm going to go ahead and read Joshua's text message so we can put this video into context for anybody that's catching it at this moment. And hopefully this at the end, I can provide multiple solutions and the reasoning why this is happening to you so we can avoid this situation all in all. Okay, so this is what Joshua asked. My credit is messed up right now because some credit cards I have with high usage. I have 100% payment history, but it's not just about paying them. It's I don't understand when to pay and when to order it or when to pay and what order to pay in. What that's what gets me. I paid them all on the due date and I read somewhere that that was wrong. Okay. So a little bit hard to read the message, but I get the gist of it. So the message is basically asking, he's saying that he makes his payments 100% of the time, every single month, but yet he still is struggling with credit utilization. Okay. So that tells me one or two things that's going on in this situation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share with you the document right now so that we can discuss this and give you a visualization rather than just talk about it. Okay. So with this document that you're seeing on screen, this is going to be from American Express, but you can find your bank statement or your credit card balances, you going to your bank or your credit union and looking up your credit card balance banking statement. Okay. Once you get to your banking statement, if you have American Express, it's super easy. That's the example on the screen. So just go pull up your American Express banking statement and you can walk through this right now with me. Okay. So the most important dates is going to be our payment due date and then our closing date, also known as statement date. These are the two most important dates and they're for a reason. Okay. I'm going to explain to you step by step exactly why they both dates matter and which one matters even most or even more. Okay. So your payment due date is the first date that's very important for us to know. And your payment due date on this in this scenario, in this example here, is due on 04/03/2023. Okay. So for payment due date, in order for us to pretty much pass this requirement and be in good standing, we must make at least the minimum payment. At least we must make at least the minimum payment, okay, on the due date, which is 04/03/2023. Okay. And the reason why is because we will avoid paying any type of late fees to that financial institution if we at least make a minimum payment by the due date. We avoid late fees and which is a $39 fee each time you have a late fee, by the way, a court it if you're dealing with American Express, it can be different for every institution. So you got to double check how much they charge if you do not pay a minimum payment at least on the payment due date. Okay. And your APR will increase, meaning your interest rate now, like depending on what it was when you qualify for the credit card, your interest rate now will be the highest possible that they offer from that institution. In this case, it is 29.99%. That is ridiculous, y'all. So that means my interest rate is pretty much all I would be paying each and every month. My balance is never going to degree this my balance will never decrease because I will never be paying my actual balance, which for an example, let's say I have a credit card with a credit limit of $1,000 and I maxed it out. So I'm supposed to pay $1,000 back. But with a 29% interest rate, I'm pretty much going to just be paying on the interest each month, especially if I'm just paying the minimum. So that $1,000 balance will always be maxed out and I will never be able to pay it down because I don't have enough money to catch up. So that is how we get put into a rat race of paying debt over time and never being able to actually fully catch up because we're only paying interest rather than a principal amount. Okay, so we want to avoid that at all costs. That's why the payment due date is very important for us to understand. Now, the second date, which is the most important date. So I hope you made it this far, okay? This is the gem here. The second date for this scenario is the closing date, also known as the statement date. Now, the closing date for this account is 04/07/2023. The reason why this date is the most important is because this date is when your creditor, also known as your furnisher, a data furnisher, meaning that they are the ones that take a snapshot of your credit health and send it over to the credit reporting agencies. So in this scenario of credit card usage, they're going to take a snapshot of all our activity for the month of all the spend that we had. Okay, so if my credit limit is $1,000 and I spent over $1,000 or I spent $1,000 on that credit card, that means my credit card utilization for that month is 100% maxed out. And if I do not make a payment and get it under 30%, which is the credit utilization ratio that we must have in order to be compliant with the credit reporting factors, right? Which there's five of them. One being payment history, which makes up 35% of our credit report. Two being utilization, which is what we're on, which makes up 30% of our credit report. Three being credit history, which makes up 15% of our credit report. And then four being credit mix, which is a variety of credit between installment and revolving. And that makes up 10% of your credit report. And then the last one being hard inquiries, which is how many times have we asked for credit? That's 10% of your credit report. Okay, that makes up 10% of your credit report. We're on utilization, which is 30%. So to put this in a easy to understand concept and in the point system, let's think about our credit in points. Okay, so 850 points is the total maximum points we can have for excellent credit. Okay, and then 300 points is pretty much the lowest we can go as far as in our credit, as bad as it can get. Okay, so 300 and 850. 850, the highest it can get, 300, the lowest it can get. So if we take 850 and we minus 300, we're left with 550 points. Okay, so we have a chance to lose out on 550 points overall. Now we need to take 550 and we need to times it by the credit utilization ratio, which is 30%. That makes up 30% of our credit report. So 550 times 0.30, right, for 30%, that's going to give us 165 points. So each and every month, we have the capability of losing over a hundred. We have a capability of losing 165 points for credit utilization alone. Okay, that is very important. So if you want to avoid the roller coaster ride, I promise y'all, you want to pay attention to the closing date or otherwise known as the statement date. Either verbiage that you hear is the correct one. If once you find that date, you should never have credit card utilization problems because as long as you make a payment to your credit to your furnisher, the bank that you're banking with, or the credit union you're banking with, as long as you make a payment before that closing date, before they take a snapshot of your entire activity for the month and send it over to the credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, before they receive that snapshot and then go ahead and update your credit report for the month, and you're stuck with that utilization for a whole 30 days before you can update your credit report again, you must make the payment. So if it's $1,000 credit limit that you have, you must pay it down to $100, or even better yet, pay your balance in full to $0. Okay. Now, let me give you another scenario. If you make your payment on a payment due date and you pay the balance off to $0, right? So on this date, you pay the balance to $0. Make sure you do not spend any more at all on that credit card until it is past the closing date. Okay. So to make this even more simple, if your payment due date is on the third or on the first of the month, do not use that credit card for a whole week, to just make it simple. Because in this case scenario, our payment due date is on the third, but our closing date is on the seventh. That's 4 days that we have open, a window open. So if we put any more new spend on that credit card during that time period, what's going to happen is the creditor, who is the data furnisher, the bank or the credit union you're with, they're going to take a snapshot of that account and send that over to the credit reporting agencies. So not only your old balance, but the new balance you put on for that month on that credit card will also be reported to the credit reporting agencies. And we want to avoid that because we want another 30-day grace period, right? So after that 30 days, so after your credit report closes out for the month, then you can put all the new spend you want, because then our credit utilization is hidden for another 30 days. And then that before the next update and before the next closing date, we can make another payment, okay? And we avoid paying interest, which is the name of the game in this credit space. We want to avoid interest at all cost, okay? We don't want to be paying interest, y'all. We want to utilize a credit card just like we use our debit card, except we have to take an additional step and just go ahead and pay the money back. So never spend the money on your credit card unless you already have it in on your debit card or in your bank account. If you have the money in your bank account, go ahead and put it on your credit card, because then you can pay off your credit card right away. Then you never have to worry about utilization. And as long as you know your closing date, you will never have a utilization problem again. So it is that simple. And now that you have that information, everything should be much easier for you. And I hope you get a lot of value from this video. And if you have any other questions, or you just want me to make a video on a certain topic, let me know so I can create that and give value to our community so we can all learn and grow together. I appreciate your time, and I hope I hear from you, and good luck.